We are going live. Hey, everybody, it's showtime. Showtime, and I'm a giant nerd. All right.
Do. Oh, yeah.
Ready to go live. Hello, everybody. It's a dinosaur. His name's Rex and blah, 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 bloop. Do. Yeah! This episode is sponsored by Quack Alert. They are ridiculously in love with ducks. I have no clue why, but you know what? It's cool. Hey, everybody. It's Chris from the Charity Board Gamer. What'd you think of that whole dinosaur thing?
I think it's fantastic. Now, see, I feel like I'm going to have to dance or something after all those people, because everyone there seemed to have some moves going on.
Well, when I was doing the video, when I was doing the clip and I was clipping it, I was trying to think of, okay, I want to have something like an intro. So, of course, the first thing was Monique, Game Freak Geek Girl. And just, I was just kind of joking around. Like every time I start like a live stream before I did these clips, I was kind of like doing, hey, we're live, and I was like doodly do, and just like random songs and stuff. And so I remember with Tim Vernick from Thunderworks Games, he and I were bobbing back and forth because I had just seen Hamilton and I was singing the song that Prince George sings or whatever it is.
Okay.
What is up, Better Half Reviews? Thanks for joining us tonight. So yeah, that's been one of those.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so basically every time I got different clips, and Matt from Bezier was doing his little hands up thing, and so yeah, I just tried to find different moments where we're all like being silly and having fun, because I mean that's kind of the idea. But hey, for all of you that are joining us, especially you Better Half Reviews, hey, thanks for joining in tonight. We are talking with Todd from AEG, that's Alderac Entertainment Group. We're going to be talking about some games. We're going to be talking about his journey. We're going to be talking about fatherhood, because we have kids that are the exact same age.
I believe we do.
Yeah, I think we talked about that when we were playing games the other day, and we're just going to be talking about all those things, and then we're going to take some time to talk about Friends for Hope Uganda, which is an organization that's actually helping kids in Uganda. So it's very cool. Hey, look, Fletch is on here. What's up, Fletch?
Hey, Fletch. Been working with Fletch a lot lately. We got a game very soon.
Yeah, was it? It's the Marvel Smash Up. I think it just came out.
It is coming out very, very soon. I believe it came out a little early in Australia, but yes, it'll be on sale very, very soon here stateside. And in fact, our early copies are just now getting to us. I'm waiting with anticipation for my own copy to get here. I know Paul Peterson, the lead designer, just got his today, sent a photo through to show everybody that his copy arrived. So yeah, it'll be to people very, very soon. It's been really fun working with the op on that and getting to work with Marvel and work with their characters and bring them into the Smash Up family.
Yeah, I mean, you had the kind of the superheroes type thing for Smash Up, which had come out, and everybody I think was asking, when can we get some of the superheroes that we want? How can we get like Captain America, and things of that nature? And of course, Trinity Scott from Overnight Games is on here, and he is a big fan of Smash Up. So I know their family has definitely enjoyed the games. I think they just did something about Cubitos, right? I think so.
Yeah, I believe they did. And we know them very well. And we had done our spoof on superheroes because, Smash Up has been known for spoofing everything for so long. And it was actually quite funny to get to work with Marvel, because we looked at our own superhero faction from a few years ago and we realized, oh, well, there's our little spoof of Captain Marvel, and now you can put it beside the real one. So
that would kind of be neat. That'd be very neat to actually put the superheroes and the superheroes together, which definitely would be a lot of fun. Of course, there's Allison. She's going to be on with us later tonight when we're playing Sheepy Time.
Yes.
But yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself, and then one of the things I like to always do is, tell us a little bit about your journey. What were some of the games that you really enjoyed when you were growing up as a kid?
Okay, well, when I was young, when I first really got into gaming was when Magic first began, way back in the alpha days when it first came out. I had played Dungeons and Dragons before that, and when I was really, really young. And I got into Magic for a little bit, but shortly after getting into Magic, I connected with a Star Wars role-playing group. And I would go up to a game store in Memphis, Tennessee, and played Star Wars role-playing every Monday night for many, many years. And funny enough, that little Star Wars game group was sort of an incubator for a lot of people who ended up going into the industry of gaming. The game master was none other than Mike Webb of Alliance Game Distribution. He went on to become one of their senior vice presidents, and several other people who've gone on to work at other companies and different places. And we played in that, and from there, I got introduced to Legend of the Five Rings, which of course AEG produced, who I work for. And from there, Warlord, the collectible card game. And Warlord was where I really began to get to know AEG, and I began to get to know the designers, and I began to become a part of the community of the gaming in a bigger way. Because back in those days, in those CCG communities, you could really, really get to know people. They were much more tighter knit communities than, say, the Magic community, the Pokemon community, communities around games like Legend of the Five Rings, Warlord, Spycraft. The people knew each other. We used to say that you could always find a couch to sleep on in any city in the world, basically, because you always knew somebody from talking on, the Usenet groups and the forums and all the stuff back then. And we were all very close friends, and we were very close with the people who made the game. The folks at AEG were very active in those communities, and through that I got to know them, and I eventually applied for the job there at AEG, and they brought me on board to manage Warlord, and that was nearly 20 years ago. And I started working for AEG, managed Warlord, eventually managed Legend of the Five Rings. We shifted over to board games when we noticed that the board game scene was beginning to really take off. Mm-hmm. When the game market was shifting away from role-playing games and collectible card games more toward board games. And that was the time that we released Smash Up and several other games that kind of got a foothold at the beginning of board games taking off again. And we've sort of ridden that wave ever since. And I've been doing that. I've done production. I should say development, not production, but done development, and I'll do a lot of marketing and PR and different things of that nature for AEG ever since then.
Nice. So you've been doing this for 20 years. That's
20 years. Yeah. It's not a short amount of time.
I mean, it's pretty amazing because you think about it. You've had the chance to go out and do all these different things. Like you've been able to go out to conventions. You've been able to see the process of games being made. I mean, that's just in itself. That's pretty neat that you've been able to just kind of take it all in. What have been some of your favorite things in the 20 years that you've been doing this? What have been some milestones and highlights that you really say, oh my gosh, I was able to be a part of that? I mean, of course, you've had a long line of games in 20 years.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing that there's certain points where you're just kind of like, this was one of the most amazing things that I had to tell my kids about, or that's something I had to tell my wife about, stuff like that.
Yeah, there's been a few moments like that. Oh, hey, see that comment from Better Half. That's awesome. It's funny you mentioned playing Smash Up recently. We were actually at church last night. There was a new couple that had come, and I was introducing myself to them, and I was speaking to the husband. He's a banker, just moved down here to work in a new bank, and he asked what I did, and I was explaining what I did. I mentioned Smash Up, and he said, "Oh, we used to play that at our last bank during lunchtime." He's like, "We used to play Smash Up all the time," and I was like, "That's actually kind of cool to know that people out there in other places are really playing it." But yeah, as far as things like that, there have been a few. There was the year that we did our big game night at Gen Con, and when we hit over 1,000 people. We had 1,000 people in one space to play our games in one night. That was a huge moment. It was just crazy to see that many people all there. There was the time when just being a part of discovering something new. When we picked up and launched Love Letter, and we began the whole micro games thing. It's one of those things you can look back on and I see people doing interviews at conventions now and doing panels talking about micro games and how to do micro games and the evolution of micro games. And I can just kind of sit back and smile kind of contentedly. It's like, well, we started that. It's like it wouldn't really exist if we hadn't done Love Letter, because Love Letter was the beginning of that in a lot of ways. I mean, there had been small games before that, but that wave didn't really begin without Love Letter having been such a big hit. And to have been a part of that, and to have met Seiji, and to have been part of that thing of Japanese games coming over and getting to go over there so much and be a part of that was really, really neat. Just getting to kind of see the flow and the trends change is an interesting thing too. It's been an odd year, of course, but being able to see that all the different friends that we know have been able to weather everything pretty well, and that friends we have in other companies are doing well as well through all this. That's been a really good thing too, out of everything that most everyone's been able to take last year in stride. Was a good thing. That was a really good thing to see.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, I know that last year had to have been pretty challenging for a lot of publishers, because you don't know if the sales are going to happen, because you don't have the convention space to be able to really show it off and highlight the hard work that you all have put into it. Like when you're at a convention, it's like I've demonstrated at some conventions where it's okay. You've got 15 minutes. You can show it to about 4 people. 15 minutes. It's out of the way. People are like, okay, I want to go ahead and buy a copy right now. And at the same time, people are able to watch it as it's happening and able to say, oh, wow, that looks like fun. I want to go ahead and get a copy. I don't even need to sit down and play it. I know that I'm going to like this. Whereas the virtual scene has been interesting, because it's been more along the lines of, okay, we have a game, you can play it. It's going to be on Tabletop Simulator, where you're not always feeling the tactile feel of, okay, the cards or the meeple or anything of that nature. And so, I mean, that's got to be something that I have to say, you all had to really adapt to adjust to that. And of course, right now we're not sure what's going to happen convention wise this year. We've heard Origins in September, but of course it's also dependent on how well they do with this vaccine. It sounds like they've got some good ideas, and I really hope that they go through and that people are smart in whatever they do. But Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It's a blessing when you see companies still be able to prevail and still be able to survive and still be able to take care of their staff. Because, I mean, last year, one of the biggest things that a lot of other people in other industries were dealing with was furloughing employees and having to do reduced hours. Even in a hospital where I work, we had reduced hours. So.
Yeah, it had been really difficult for some folks, and we were just very blessed and in the way we came through, and we're still, I'll be honest with you, we're still muddling through. I mean, you mentioned the lack of conventions, and it is difficult because we're still figuring out how to get it in front of people. It's still hard to get new titles out in front of as many people as you could without the conventions, and we're still figuring out what's the best way to do that, because I think that digital conventions are still trying to happen, but I think they're even still trying to figure out how to do that right. I mean, we've done research on polling and things like that of how many people are actually taking part in those, and we're getting some numbers on that that are trying to inform us of how viable we think they really are and what our strategy should be for that. And so there's just still a lot of learning curve, I think, to go on. As far as how do we reach people, should we not be able to go to conventions, which, we've decided as a company, we're just going to wait and see. We're going to, make whatever choice we have to make that would be best for, our staff and everyone. Of course, we want to get back to them. We want to see everybody again, and we want to, have a booth again and do all that stuff. But we're not going to do that until we think it's safe for everybody, because we don't want anybody getting sick, of course. But yeah, we want to get back and we want to play with people again, because we still think that's the best way. That's the best way to show off the games. And we've got some, really fun games coming up this year that we want to get in front of people. And, but things like Tabletop Simulator and all that, they've been useful. They've been really great tools, especially in development as well, since we've been spread all over as a company anyway, to be able to play test more and, get more development in as we can.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure the people that develop Tabletop Simulator are really happy right now with the fact that I think that they jumped up in sales after the pandemic hit. So
I'm sure they're not complaining about it. So
no, it's Better Half Reviews has a question. What's your favorite version of Love Letter?
Okay, so if I had to go back, so my kids still bust out Adventure Time Love Letter with me all the time. Abby Kate keeps her copy of that in arm's reach a lot. I would have to say my favorite, just because it's obscure, is the Star Wars one, which not many people have or know about, because it was only released in Russian, because our Russian partners had the Star Wars license, but only for Russian language edition. So it can never be released in English, and never could be released outside of Russia and a few other countries. But they sent me a couple of copies of it. So I've got it because it's Love Letter. There's only a few cards you have to remember. You can play it by the numbers. And that was always my favorite one, just because it was obscure.
The version that I want to find, and it's hard to find now, is I think the Batman version. That's the one that I've heard is the one that a lot of people like. We have the Legend of Five Rings version, which I think that was sent to my friendly local game store, and I think it was during a promotion of some sort, and they actually gave a copy to me, which was so nice of them. That's right, Lost Legion, South Charleston, great store.
Yeah, the Batman one is hard to find. It has the cool little bat tokens in it, and I think that's what a lot of people liked about it.
Yeah. Well, I know Allison says here too, it's like we're anxious to experience our first in-person convention for sure. Yeah, they've really been blossoming since for 2020. They've really gotten involved in the board game scene, and they're phenomenal. I can't wait to have them say hi to you when we play later. But you were talking about some new games. What are some of the new games that we're talking about? Because I'm excited to hear about them.
Yeah. So, well, as you mentioned, Cubitos, which we played together on Tabletop Simulator, and I believe you got a copy of that already there with you.
Yep. Do I have it on my shelf right now? Because it's actually upstairs.
Okay.
Yeah, my copy's upstairs where we usually game at the dining room table.
Yeah, and I don't have any of my copies here with me. All mine are at home. I'm here at my little office space. So, but Cubitos is coming out very soon. It is a racing game by John D. Clare, who you may know for Mystic Vale, Space Base, Edge of Darkness, and many others. In it, you are a little cube person who's trying to race around a track. You do that by rolling dice, and you collect the dice. And different dice have different abilities. So the brown dice may let you move more spaces. The blue dice may let you move over water if you roll them properly. And you're going to have obstacles on the board and different things like that. So you need to put together the right set of dice to try to navigate the board faster than the other players and get around all the obstacles. It's really fun. There's 4 different tracks in the board. There's lots of different abilities for the dice. So there's all kinds of different variations in the game. You can get lots of different tracks, lots of different racing, and just a lot of variety. And that's Cubitos, and that'll be out very, very soon. And following Cubitos, we've got Sheepy Time, which we're going to play tonight a little bit later on. Sheepy Time is a blast. Okay, it's a push your luck game where track with me here. You're the dream sheep. Okay, you're the sheep that keep people asleep at night when they're counting sheep. Okay. So you're trying to run laps around and jump over the fence so they can count you and make sure that your people get enough winks at night that they stay asleep. But there's a nightmare that's also running around the track that's trying to catch you. So it's a push your luck element of trying to push your luck and make more laps around the track to keep your person asleep versus not getting caught by the nightmare. Because if you get caught by the nightmare, then your person gets scared and they wake up and you lose the whole evening. Yeah. So you want to do as much as you can, but not overdo it. And it's really fun. It's strategic. It's challenging for adult players, but it's also easy enough for young ones. As you mentioned, we have kids around the same age, and I'm a little unique in the company in that I tend to play test a lot of our games with my kids a lot and get their feedback on it for their ages. And they played this one a lot with me. They really, really enjoyed it. We've got a couple other games. We've got one coming to Kickstarter before long. It's called Meeples and Monsters. Okay. It is we're just about to start announcing this one. It's a game where you have a city full of little meeple people, and you have little wizards and warriors and clerics and all that, and you're attacked by different monsters that you have to try to defend the city and go on little quests and all these things. And your monsters are things like woodchucks and termites and all those different things that would be dangerous to people made of wood. And it's about amassing the most victory points and all that for defending the city. It's a really, really fun little game. I put in way too many wood-based puns and things like that based on the fact that they're all meeples. And I think people are going to really enjoy it. We played it a lot. It's actually a really tight game too. So people who like the mechanics side of it, I think are going to enjoy it a lot.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that does sound interesting. Now when is that hitting Kickstarter?
Let me double check. I'm going to give you exact dates because I've got access to it right here.
Sweet.
The one nice thing about being right here on my computer, I can pull up the current date. Maybe I can.
Yeah, and it looks like Allison's excited about Sheepy Time. And Susie recently did an unboxing of Cubitos, which was really well done. So
nice, thank you. It looks like it will be coming to Kickstarter in March. Currently,
Kickstarter in March. Okay, nice. Do you have a tabletop simulator version of that one for later? Or
in fact, I don't have it loaded on mine, and I have not been given the okay to start showing that one off just yet. But very, very soon we'll be actually setting up tabletop simulators with content creators like yourself, so you'll be able to be included in on that. We'll get to an episode with you, and you can Meeples and Monsters with us.
That sounds great. What else after Meeples and Monsters are we talking, or is it all sure?
No, it's not all hush hush. In fact, I'm going to open up and tell you some more. As we've mentioned, we've got we've got a single faction pack for Smash upcoming. We've got the Goblins.
Okay.
The one you can get from our online store. The Goblins come to Smash Up and they bring a little bit of randomness with them, a little coin flipping. You play the Goblin cards and you flip a coin and one thing or another happens because they're a little chaotic. They can't help it. It's just the way they are.
Yeah.
We've got a new expansion for Warchest called Siege.
Okay.
You're bringing in siege equipment, trebuchets and battering rams and all sorts of stuff like that to the Warchest setting. And then, of course, we've got a new expansion for Ecos. If you remember Ecos, we've got New Horizons coming out.
Okay.
Had some new new animals, new terrain features that you can bring into Ecos to build your world there a little more. And several other games we haven't announced yet, but more on the horizon as well.
Yeah, I agree with Fletch. Warchest is great. I remember when I got my copy of Warchest, opening up the box and reading the message from the father to the son and talking about the strategy. It's like what I am setting forth before you is this beautiful strategy of what's to come, and so you can be prepared when you one day basically become king. And I like that. I like the little thing, and the chips are really nice. And yeah, we've enjoyed that one because I mean I enjoy chess with my kids, but I wanted something that was that's a nice enough abstract that you could replace chess with that, and just have that kind of out on the table and just be able to play with your kids. So
absolutely, and Warchest is so much fun. In fact, one of my friends who is an avid chess player just really took to it and really enjoyed playing it and liked it so much. I ended up having to just get him a copy because he kept wanting to come over and play it all the time. And I was like, here, just, here, have one. And then one other fun thing we announced today, this was something that we did and we got to do mostly just for fun because we wanted to. As I mentioned many, many years ago, I came on board with AEG to manage the Warlord collectible card game. And for many of us who are still around from back then, that was probably one of our favorite products we ever did. We used to love playing Warlord. We still love playing Warlord when we have time. It was a collectible card game based off the D20 role-playing concept. You actually had a D20 you had to roll while playing the game when your cards would fight each other. And we just loved it. And there's still a very active community for it that still holds their own tournaments at Gen Con that can get up to 30, 40 people at Gen Con playing in them to this day.
I need gosh, if Gen Con happens, I want to go see what this is like.
And they have a very active community on Facebook still, the Warlord CCG Facebook group. And we decided this is the 20th anniversary of it. So we went and we dug out our old CD-ROM backups and tape drive backup from way back in the day, and dug out the old data assets and remade a few of them and made a completely new 20-card pack of entirely new cards we developed, new art. In fact, I got one of my favorite Smash Up artists that I work with to do all new art for it. And got a bunch of the developers and people who are big in the community now still to this day. And we put together a promo set to celebrate the 20th anniversary. And we just announced it today. And we're going to be selling that. It's going to be one of these short pre-orders where from February 1st through February 5th on our online store, you can order the pack. And that'll be the only time to order it, those 5 days. And once that's done, that'll be it. And then this summer, everyone who ordered it will get it. And it'll be our little celebration and a little thank you to all those fans for still sticking with it after all those years and still enjoying the game. And we announced it today and it exploded. I mean, I've been amazed at the post. It's been almost this constant ding, 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 ding on my Facebook. ever since I made the post.
Well, I mean, that just sounds awesome. The fact that you all are doing something like that with community, and you're saying, okay, you all have been loyal to us and our company. Let's find something that would be a continuation of our celebration of that loyalty. I like that idea because you don't see that from a lot. It's not like, hey, I had my Vizio TV for 13. I think we had our TV for like over 13 years. Vizio hasn't said anything to us yet. So no. So, it's not like, oh, hey, loyalties. But I like the idea that you know that there's people out there that are still using and still playing the games. And now you have a way of making something fun for them to be able to enjoy and continue that enjoyment that they had before. So that is really cool. I kind of want to find out more about this game now because you've been talking about it, and it's just kind of like your excitement, even before we went live about it, was kind of infectious right there. So to hear you, like your journey and how that game kind of played a part of it too, it kind of makes me interested a little bit more. I mean, 20 years later, and you're still talking about this game.
It makes me feel young again, right? Like it makes me feel 20 years younger and 20 pounds lighter, and
I could definitely use 20 pounds lighter right now. I probably could use 50 pounds lighter, honestly.
Yeah, no joke, but yeah, on my end, I know that. But
yeah, that's the other thing about COVID is you're not going out as much to places, so you're kind of like, it feels great to sit down, and I don't want to get up, and that's kind of how it's been. But yeah, luckily we do some bike riding with the kids. What have you been doing with your kids to be able to stay active and everything?
So we live down in Mobile, Alabama, and we're down on the Gulf Coast, so we benefit from pretty warm weather most of the time. Mm-hmm. And when this whole thing first began, and people really didn't know, how active are you going to get to be? How many places are you going to get to go? I decided pretty early, okay, well, I'm going to run out, and I ran out and bought a pretty decent little above ground pool and put that in the backyard right away. Mm-hmm. And so we had that going on. And so we were out swimming a lot, and we would go there's some trails and things down at the beach and stuff like that we could go to. And there's some, relatively hidden, not hidden, but, secluded beach areas we could go to.
Oh, yeah.
That. And you could still be out and about and be, relatively far from people and not be, all that. So we would get out and do that. We do a lot of bike riding around the neighborhood and things like that. We played a whole lot of games. We decided to start trying to cull our collection. We're like, all right, let's start unwrapping things and decide what stays and what goes. Let's plow through some stuff. We got time. But we did a lot of that. And that was a lot of what we did. We invested in a lot of backyard stuff. Between that, we were very lucky that my wife's brother and sister, or brother-in-law and sister, had given us a projector for the last Christmas, and so we had some backyard movies and
nice
things like that. So yeah, we had our own little space in there to hang out and enjoy. So that was pretty good.
What's been the one movie that you really enjoyed the most this past year?
Let's see. Movie I enjoyed the most. That's a tough one. Okay, I think for different reasons. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed Onward, because that was the first one that we watched we actually did our backyard movie night with, right? Mm-hmm. That was the first one, and that one was really a lot of fun to do that with. Oddly enough, although it was not the best film, I think, I really enjoyed that Monster Hunter, because that was the first one that me and my boys actually went back to the movie theater to watch at a movie theater, and it was mm-hmm. like, oh my gosh, we're back in the movie theater. This is awesome.
Oh yeah.
But and that alone, there was nobody there, but that alone made it worth it. It's like, hey, we're sitting in a movie theater with some popcorn watching the movie. That's all that matters. But that was That was pretty memorable. Otherwise, it's mostly been TV. We've been watching a lot of TV and stuff like that more than anything. But all the obvious stuff. Everybody's been watching Mandalorian and all.
Oh
that.
yeah. Great series. I think for us, movie wise, I really enjoyed. I enjoyed Soul. I thought Soul was fairly well done. Interesting story. Plus, being a musician as well, it just kind of makes sense. Where like I've been playing cello, and I think to myself, okay, there's a lot of people out there trying to make it, and sometimes it doesn't happen. And sometimes the things that we learn more is that we're better at teaching and educating in different roles, and then we realize, okay, well, how am I helping others? And so it's a lot of good messages in that movie. So I thought that was well done. Plus it had I forget the gentleman's name who plays Moss from the IT crowd.
Oh yeah. Ayade. I can never say his last name right.
Ayawade.
Yeah.
Who knows? But there's talks about people are wanting him to be the next Doctor Who. So that would be, but I would want him to be Deadpan Moss the whole time, which would be perfect because just that whole idea of like staring at a fire and typing on the laptop and just kind of be like, oh, Roy. No. And so, yeah, it was just something about that show that I always enjoy going back to it and watching it.
Yeah, that's always a good one.
Mm-hmm. They tried to come up with a U.S. version. It was not.
Oh no, it was bad. It was
horrible. Well, it still had Awadi as Moss, which that's perfect. But Joel McHale as the main character, and I'm just kind of like, it just didn't work. I think it was one pilot episode, and then everybody's like, no.
Yeah, but I don't think it was that McHale was a problem. It was literally the same lines.
It was the exact same. Yeah, it was exact.
Like if you're going to adapt the show, adapt it, right? Like make the jokes a little different or something.
Yeah, I think The Office did a better job. What's surprising is The Office did that, and I think The Office in the UK was only maybe 3 series long.
Yeah.
And The Office in the US went 10 seasons, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think, in my opinion, I think there's a lot of people who may try to be hipster and say the other way, but I think honestly, the US Office far surpassed the UK.
Yeah, I agree.
It became the better show.
Well, and it really made people fall in love with Steve Carell, which he was still fairly an unknown person. It was Steve Carell and Stephen Colbert, and they were doing most of their stuff at the time during The Daily Show, which that was back when Craig Kilborn was still there before Jon Stewart. So yeah, that's
back in the way back.
Yeah, back in the way back. But yeah. Now, something else that we were going to talk about tonight. I could talk TV the whole night, but
probably.
Yeah, but something that we were going to talk about tonight is Friends for Hope Uganda. This is something that Todd wants to let other people know about. This is something that is a nonprofit that he supports. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the screen. I'm actually going to show the actual website.
Okay.
And when I do that, I'm just going to kind of let you take it away and talk about it. So
okay,
pull it up and should be here.
All right. So Friends for Hope is a group that my wife and I are involved in. They are actually friends of ours here in Mobile. And they had gone to Uganda many years ago. It was a couple, and they were over there with their kids, and they met their son, who you see there in the photo there, had met these kids when he was really young, and they were playing soccer, and they were having a great time together. And then when they were leaving, he basically asked them some question or something. The story's on there, but he asked them a question, something about like, why can't we help them? And so they decided, okay, let's do that. And so they went home and they just started pairing up people with these children just directly. And there was no middleman. And they began going back and forth to Uganda and sponsoring these children and getting them in school and making sure that their school fees were paid for and that they were getting there every day. And they have since established a person there locally in Uganda who who takes care of the kids each day, making sure that they're in school, that they got all their needs met, that they're taken care of medically, that they're making it to school every day, that they've got enough to eat, different things of that nature. They got enough clothes, they got all their supplies. And before the pandemic hit, when they were able to, Ken and Dana, the couple that run it, would make regular trips over there, and they would, while they were there, they would FaceTime the kids to their sponsors so they could have conversations and get to know them, and they would have you really, interact and get to know that child. And it was never one of those things where, there's great charities out there, but some of the charities do that thing where if you sponsor a child, your money goes to that child's community rather than necessarily to that child, and then it kind of gets dispersed. Well, they make sure that if you sponsor a child, it goes to that child and it takes care of that child. And you can know that every penny goes exactly to them. And one thing that Friends for Hope has never done is taken any donation for overhead. Everything that Ken and Dana do to go back and forth to Jinja over in Uganda and to fund Emma, who is the person on the ground there, comes out of their own pocket. They never take anyone's donations to do that. So it's been amazing. My wife has been able to go over there twice to help. She got to go over there when the kids were getting registered for school for that year and was able to help get them signed in for school, get them their supplies organized and everything. We have a young lady named Lavisa who we've sponsored for many, many years and have been able to see her grow and just grow into this beautiful young lady and see her mature. And I'll tell you, I won't go into her whole story right now, but this young lady has been through so much. It's heartbreaking what she has come through, and we will get FaceTime calls from her. Emma will be doing his rounds to check on everybody at their homes and in basically their huts, really. And he will FaceTime us with her sometimes, and the smile she has through everything, and the happiness that she has, and the joy she has is just unreal. And just the work they do there for these kids is incredible. And what's been great is that the first group of them, I think 4 boys that they started this program with, have all graduated high school. And this first 4, almost all of them have now begun helping the younger ones and are now pouring back into the younger kids in the program to help make sure that they're getting through and that they're moving on as well. So it's just been really a blessing to watch.
That is amazing. And just like even this whole thing though, it's like he was just wanting friends, and then he was able to make friends, and then he's like, I want to help them. That's a really cool story. So yeah. I also like the fact that for people that are watching right now, if you're interested, you want to support it. I know not everybody can go over to Uganda. Not everybody can just be able to just financially immediately give the finances, but there's actually a Smile link on here where you can attach it to your purchases, and a portion of it goes back to the charity, which that is a great thing to be able to have. So that's really cool. But yeah, I like this organization just for the fact that it's a family that said there's a need. Let's just go help the need. It's not even a simple, it's not like okay, what's the process? Oh, do we need to get this? Like you said, there's no middleman.
Right.
And that's pretty cool. Plus the fact, like you said, it's not just going towards the community, it's actually going towards the child and helping the child directly, which that is very important. I mean, there's organizations like Heifer International that helps the community, whereas this actually helps directly the children and their development and their process. So that's really cool. I like it when there's organizations like this.
I can share one story. before Kathy went there the last time, my wife Kathy went over the last time, we did an effort with our church and our community around here to raise solar powered light bulbs because so many people in Jinja don't have electricity. And the kids will go to school during the day and then they'll come home and have homework and they have no light to do their homework. And so we had looked on Amazon and there were these, $13 little LED plastic light bulbs with their own little solar panels. And so we collected, I think, around 35 or 40 of them. And they took them over and they got video of it. And Kathy got to take them out to their homes. And she took these light bulbs in, and some of these women who were in their 40s and 50s, she hooked up these lights, and these women were in tears at having just a powered light on in their homes. And it brought Kathy to tears just being able to give them a light bulb. It was life changing, and it was just so humbling, that something that simple. And there was and while they were there, they had encountered a family. One of the boys that was in school that was sponsored by another family here in Mobile. Their hut was on a person's land. The person whose land it was on passed away. His children inherited the land and basically told them to get off and demolish their hut.
Oh, wow.
They had nowhere to go, and they were living basically in the mud with nothing to live on. And the son was trying to go to school and trying to fish off the bank of the river just to try to make anything for him. And he could barely catch enough for them to eat, much less sell anything. And because of Friends for Hope and because of the contact they had, they were able to call people around here in the neighborhood and the community and raise enough money and that they were able to actually buy him a used boat with a trolling motor and some nets. And he was able to actually get out and start fishing enough to start earning enough money to be able to pay rent on a little shack that they could live in. I mean, it's a shack. It's not, it's nothing spectacular, but he's at least now able to earn his own, living for his family. It's not like he's having to live off the charity of it. The charity is helping pay for him to go to school, but he's still able to support his family and, keep them under a roof now. Cause that's ultimately what they want. The goal is to get these children to a place where as they become adults, they have the dignity and the ability to be able to provide for themselves, so yeah.
No, that's awesome. I mean, I think sometimes we look very much in our own situations, and we look at everything that's going around us in our bubble. And I think I mentioned this on Tuesday too, but there's so many things that are going on outside of our four walls or out of our United States. There's so much that we take for granted. I mean, even having the lights on, like you said, just the idea that there's still places where people don't have power naturally. Right. They don't have, ways of generating electricity naturally in their area. There's places that don't have clean water still. And so when you hear about these experiences where people are able to have them, and we're able to make that happen, my question is, why not? Why not get involved in organizations like this? We're so fortunate in the United States to be able to have electricity, a roof over our head, clothes on our back, organizations that help us when finances are rough. In those situations like that, like you said, this family almost had to leave their shack.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't, that's just, it's sad to even hear these type of stories, but at the same time, it's good for us to hear them, because when we hear them and we understand them, we have a better appreciation for the things that we have. And now we can take what we understand and make it better for somebody else, so that way they can be able to enjoy it. This person I know is probably already appreciating the work that's being done to help them get through school and to be able to have a boat and everything like that. But we can do better as a people to make these things happen. So I love the fact that your friends decided to do something that brought joy to somebody else. So, and I hope that it's been rewarding to them, because it sounds like a beautiful and rewarding relationship too. So,
yeah, they are, and they are. I mean, it's, I don't know any other word for it, but they're beautiful people. I mean, they really are. Just that they have so much love, and that they pour so much of themselves and their time into it, and it is so much of their life. And it's just wonderful, and it is good. It's a good and it's a humbling thing. We need that reminder of just how good we have it a lot, because we listen to our news and we listen to our Facebook, and you would think we live at the 10th level of hell or something over here, and it's like, no, we do not. We have it amazing over here, and if anybody tells you otherwise, you tell them to get out, because they are wrong.
Yeah, we're very fortunate as a people to be able to. I mean, there's of course things that need to be worked on. There's a lot of stuff like racial injustice and stuff like that. That's kind of a given.
Yeah, absolutely. But you have to maintain perspective too. Yeah.
But I mean, with the fact that there's a lot of people right now who are hungry and are trying to find a meal. We're very fortunate to be able to have a meal.
Yeah.
So Well, Todd, I want to say thank you very much for coming on. I know I'm excited. We're going to be playing Sheepy Time at about 8:30 Eastern Standard tonight. So if you want to come watch us play, we're going to be on there with Daniel and Allison from Kids Planning, Jacqueline from Pudgy Cat Games, and of course my favorite co-host Justin, Jaybird the Word. But it's going to be a blast. And if you're interested in getting involved in, I said it. I don't want to say it wrong. Yeah, Friends of Hope. I wanted to say New Hope, because I think that's or something like that. But Friends for Hope. You gotta go ahead, make a difference. Go to that site, and then if you're interested, you can just add it as an Amazon affiliate thing or whatever it's called, where it's like the Amazon Smile, and that way a portion of your money actually goes back to it. Not all of it has to go to Jeff Bezos if you don't want to. So, why not at least put it towards something that's worth it? But yeah, I'm excited. Thank you for coming on tonight. I appreciate it.
For having me. I really do appreciate it.
Anytime. Well, real quick, folks, we're going to go ahead and show our little outro that we have from Greenbrier Games, and we will see you in about a little less than an hour. So, bye.
Bye.
We also want to thank our sponsor, Greenbrier Games. Be on the lookout for